One of the biggest problems that agents have is they always try to figure out when you guys are growing your career, I need to hire somebody, but I'm scared, right? That's one of the things that we go through is understanding I don't want to spend overhead, but I need help and I need support. In your situation as a newer agent, right, you're sitting there saying, I need to drive more business and more opportunity, right? What right now is challenging for you to get to the next level of your career? Yep. Okay. What else? More leads. That's always the problem right there with level one. How do I get more consumers? How do I get more people so I can work with more people? The question is that when we're just getting started in our career and we don't have a lot of capital, we can't go out and compete against the big boys, right? Like, it's unfair for you to have the advantage of somebody that's doing $100 million a year in business because they'll just outspend you when it comes to marketing and advertising, right? I've been there. I know that. So the struggle with level ones is I need to get in front of more people, but I don't have the money to do so right now. What do I do? And so we have to find ways to create organic opportunity within your sphere and then finding as many consumers as possible in ways like open houses, as an example. The problem is that a lot of agents won't do those things. For example, when we talk about sphere and we start thinking out of the box, when we don't have a lot of capital to put into play, when you're working with a consumer that may happen to be a big influencer, for example, they work at a big corporation, they're a VP, they work at a church, they do something where they have people around them in their employment or at their charity or whatever they're doing, and they're influential. And what we think about is the direct consumer themselves. So, we take a picture with them at Tidal, we hang a sign, and we're like, so happy to help the Smith family. They were really great to work with, and then the Smith family moves on. Where if Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith is an influencer in their career, we should have friended every single person that they work with at that organization before we took that picture. Because when Mr. Smith's friends see that they worked with you, they now know they can trust you to do so. And that is smart marketing. That is organic, strategic marketing. Because that didn't cost me any money. But what I did is I recognized that Mr. Smith is an influencer to people where he works. And because of that, I want to influence as many people as possible at his job. So when they say, hey, I just saw you closed on a home, we're thinking about selling our house. How was your experience with Jason? It was great. And guess what? Now we're going to friend his friends. So these things of organic business being able to be done in a very low monetary way from things like social media, doing open houses. Here's another thing I see too with open houses. How many people in here do open houses? I hope more people that are in real estate in this room do more open houses than that. How many people in here do open houses? Okay. When you're doing an open house, someone raise their hand. Who does open houses? Okay, when you go to do an open house, how do you find your open house? Yep. No. I'm talking to the gentleman behind you in the tie. Can you stand up? Okay, you're going to go do an open house this weekend, right? I know you are. I can tell. I can't wait. Maybe I'll stop in. How did you find that open house? Yeah, when you decided you're going to do that house as an open house, why did you decide to do that house as an open house? What do you mean by that? Okay, so you'll go to other areas and do open houses. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the biggest mistakes you're making. And I want to tell you why. Open house is a free opportunity to market your brand and your name. Your branded signs with your name on there, right? The more that you're doing an open house in a community, in the same area, the more people every day that drive by at the beginning of work or at the end of work or on lunch that see your sign, the more your name has recognition. And if you're doing an open house and I don't know Long Island very well, but North Long Island, and then you're doing it in South Long Island, or you're doing one in Queens, and then you do one in the Bronx, guess what? You're not building brand name. You're not building value. And so when you guys are out there doing these open houses, Well, you have to understand the open house game is certainly for consumers to come in the door, but it's an opportunity for the people that live in that area to have brand recognition with who you are, because every single weekend and a couple times a week, they see your name when they drive by. And if you did that for 3 months, you set an open house in the general vicinity of the same area, I guarantee you, people will come in and they'll say, I see your name everywhere. And you play off that. Yeah, I know. I do a lot of business in this neighborhood. Yeah, we actually live down the street. We're considering selling our home as well. You will get people that come to your open house because they see your name so much that are considering selling their home. And they think you're the market expert. And this is why we do this strategically. Because as people start to see your signs when they drive by, or they go to lunch, or they get off work, and on the weekends, now all of a sudden they get a newsletter from you once a month. Now you're on their Facebook neighborhood or their group, and they're seeing you again. Now you just listed a new home and they get a postcard. I took an area in Scottsdale, and within 3 months, I had over 20 listings within 3 months of that general area, because I became a staple at my open houses, that as people came in and I started to list more property, people would say, I just saw, now I'm seeing this for sale sign. There's another Jason Mitchell for sale sign. There's another one. That must be the guy. And it happened so fast. And it all came because my brand was at the same open house every single day, and I set up my 15 bootleg signs with my name on there on the major roads. Everybody saw my name. And that stuff is free. And if you stick to it and you do those things organically, without a lot of ad spend, you guys are going to drive a lot of business. The problem is that when agents go to do open houses, they're going to all these different areas, and you can't build name value with that, because the people are seeing different signs all the time. If you're the only sign that they see that's consistent in that neighborhood, you're automatically the expert. And then you get your tagline that when you send your postcards and everything else, you say the king of 85259, selling more homes in 85259 than anybody, just sold highest price per square foot. You want to make the most money? Call me. I know 85259 better than anybody. Perception becomes reality. Floyd Mayweather built his entire brand. I love boxing. Floyd Mayweather is so boring to watch boxing because he's defensive, right? Floyd's not an aggressive fighter. He doesn't knock people out. He's defensive. But he's must-see TV. You know why? Because he makes you want to watch him. You have to watch Floyd. He's the master marketer when it comes to the sport. And when you guys start thinking like that because now everyone's seeing your name and seeing your sign and now getting your newsletter, and now you put your tagline on that newsletter, now it speaks for itself. You don't have to speak to it. People automatically associate you of being the person in that neighborhood. But it's about consistency. And the more consistent you are, the more opportunities you will get.